his birth certificate and frustrating him to renew his international passport. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, may I be allowed to lay these petitions?
Please go ahead. Honorable Jajere.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Engineer Mohammed Buba Jajere. I represent the good people of Fika Fune Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State, Mr. Speaker. This is a petition signed by one Lawrence Machi on behalf of the petitioner, Mr. First Peel Investment Limited. Mr. Speaker, it is a petition against the Chief Medical Director, Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, NEWI, and the Chairman of the University Teaching Hospital, the Board, and the Honorable Minister. It is
Find
a
your
petition
seat.
for wrongful
Otherwise,
termination
you
of
go back
contract.
to Kano today.
It is a petition for wrongful termination of contract and for the work done and loss of profit as a result of the wrongful termination of the contract for the construction of an operating theater complex at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Hospital permanent site, Nnewi, Anambra State. Kindly permit me to lay the petition, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency. Honorable colleagues, Nnamdi Azikiwe is my name, and I represent Ndokwa Ukwani Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. I rise here this morning to present this petition on behalf of Paralegal, petition against Professor Mojisola Christina Adeye, PhD, FAS, who is the DG of NAFDAC and Deputy Director in charge of Investigation and Enforcement, Directorate Federal Task Force on Counterfeit and Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Food, Delta State NAFDAC, and all the investigation officers of NAFDAC Asaba Office and NAFDAC Abuja Headquarter Office for illegal detention, breach of right to privacy, compromise, and biased investigation, impunity, and giving false information to members of the press by Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry and Prophet Jeremiah Omoto Fofeyi. Mr. Speaker, may I now lay this petition?
Please go ahead. Any more? Honorable Saidu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida Bakukacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present a petition on behalf of a company, a local company that was awarded a contract by the Ministry of FCT. The contract was awarded to them in the year 2010-2011, but unfortunately, because of lack of funding, they have not been able to execute the project. And as it were, the ministry is threatening to revoke the contract. So the company seek the indulgence of the House to intervene, being a local contractor. So with your permission and the leave of the House, I wish to relay the petition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action.
Honorable Abianti, Marqueset.
The first matter of urgent public importance before us is coming from Honorable Nnamdi Azikiwe. If Honorable Azikiwe is ready, please can you rise and move your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Nnamdi Azikiwe is my name, and I represent Ndokwa Ukwani Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 5, to enable me move this motion of urgent public importance, titled Urgent Need to Address the Perennial Flooding Crisis in Ndokwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg of this motion? Honorable Udwak.
Thank you, the performing speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Udwak Alfonso Sududo. I represent the people of Ikot Abasi, Pateni, and East Nabolo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this moment to second that motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. The second leg of the motion. The Plateau man.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleague, I rise to second the second leg of this motion, that this motion is urgent enough to be heard. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Nnamdi Ezeichi is my name, and I represent Ndokwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. I rise here this morning to move a motion of urgent public importance on the need to address the perennial flooding crisis in Ndokwa Federal Constituency. The House knows that Ndokwa Federal Constituency, comprising of Ndokwa East, Ndokwa West, and Ndokwa local government area in Delta State, is once again facing severe flooding in 2024, with multiple communities already displaced, infrastructure damage, and residents struggling for survival. The House also notes that this year's flooding, which has begun earlier than expected, has affected several communities in Ndokwa East, including Uchi, Abala, Okpai, Beneku, Abaragada, Abo, Osafo, Onya, Utoku, Ibuku, Ibrede, Iyedami, Lagos Iyede, Adiobiaka, Ibedeni, Umoru, Onogboko, Osisa, Afon, Onwabo, Inyi, Ushe, Ashaka, and part of Utagbogbe in Ndokwa West local government area. The House further notes that the recurring nature of flooding is devastating these areas year after year, destroying farmlands, homes, schools, and essential public infrastructure, while displacing thousands of residents and severely affecting the livelihood of the agrarian population. Concerned that despite past intervention by the federal and state government, the flooding crisis continues to worsen due to inadequate flood management system, poor drainage infrastructure, and the absence of long-term mitigation measures. The House worried that if immediate action is not taken to address the flooding, the humanitarian crisis will escalate further, leading to loss of lives and increase entire communities with severe social and economic consequences. The House be aware of the coordinated federal response involving the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ecological Fund Office, and other relevant federal and state prevention measures in Ndokwa Federal Constituency. The House resolved all the assess the flooding situation in Ndokwa Federal Constituency of Delta State and develop a comprehensive plan to prevent further destruction and displacement. Call on the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide urgent relief materials, including food, shelter, medical supplies, and other necessities to the displaced families and residents in these affected communities within Indo-Kwakwani Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the House mandates the Ecological Fund Office to release necessary funds to support erosion and flood control projects in Indo-Kwa East, Indo-Kwa West, and Ukwani local government area with a focus on developing sustainable drainage systems, riverbank protection, and flood barriers. And finally, Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency, direct the House Committee on Environment, Emergency and Disaster Management, and Water Resources to monitor the implementation of flood mitigation strategies in Indo-Kwakwani Federal Constituency, ensuring adequate resources are allocated for both immediate response and long-term solution. Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Honorable Dennis, can you second?
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. I represent Ovia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to second this motion, ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Environment, Disaster Management and Preparedness, Ecological Fund, Water Resources for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Mansour Manusoro. If you are ready, please kindly rise and move your motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I remain Mansour Manu Soro, member representing Darazo Ganjua Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Order 8, Rule 5, to present a motion of urgent national importance before this House on the need to address the unending power grid collapse and the current darkness affecting the entire northern region. I wish to seek the kind indulgence of the House for me to present this motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Abente.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues. Our Jean Nombek Dagomie Abiante. I represent Andoni Upobo, Nkora Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my friend and brother, Mansour Soro. Allow him take a matter that all of us are aware is very, very important and at the same time urgent. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The second leg, the D is with a small d.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, very distinguished colleagues, I remain Honorable Sheikh Dalhatu Takuki, member representing Paskari Kankara Sawa. I'm from Katsina State. I rise to second the second leg of the motion, ably moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Mansour Manu Soro from Bauchi State. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Manu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. The House notes that the criticality of our supply to the economic advancement of any given nation cannot be overemphasized. Further note that power supply remains indispensable to facilitating the production of goods and services in any given economy. The House is informed that the Nigerian nation has continued to witness unending power grid collapses with 8 incidences occurring in 2024 so far. The House is disturbed that the entire states in the northeast, northwest, and some part of the north central zones has been thrown into darkness over the last 2 days in what the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, described as faulty transmission lines. The House is worried that the unending grid collapse is coming at a time of worsening national hardship caused by the extreme naira devaluation embarked upon by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The House is regretting that this sad development is coming at a time when the Honorable Minister of Power has given assurances to the nation of a stable power sector during the increase in power tariff. The House resolved as follows: to mandate the House Committee on Power to investigate this unending power grid collapse, and the House Legislative Committee on Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Makama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Kabir Yusuf Makama. I representing the good people of Kaleri Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. I rise to second the motion, urgent need, important, by Honorable Mansur Manusoro. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
An amendment? Yes, Honorable Shoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. Olumide Oshoba, representing Abeokuta North, Obafemi Ode, and Odera Federal Constituency. I rise to amend that motion to read that the Committee on Power do investigate this and get back to the House in 3 weeks. Thank you. I so amend.
Any seconder to this amendment? Honorable Ajilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Umar Ajilo. I'm from Makarpi Kodan Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by my brother, Honorable Osova. I so second, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Power for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Engineer Anayo B. Omoeba. If Honorable Anayo is around, please can you rise and move your motion? Honorable Anayo. No?
Order. Order, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is still Engineer Anayo Onwebu. Mr. Speaker, I represent...
Honorable Abdul Samad, congratulations for joining the winning party. Please don't, just remain there throughout the plenary. Please. No, it's for APC leaders. And he's welcome. Please remain there. We'll announce tomorrow. Please go ahead, my brother.
Mr. Speaker, I am very relaxed now because I thought you were referring to me, because I'm still comfortable on the side I am. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I rise relying on the 8th Rule 5 to seek the leave of this House to move this motion of urgent national importance on the need for federal government to include Ivo multipurpose dam for urgent completion as a result of overflooding of the reservoir, which has led to flooding of farmlands, homes, and communities in our Niri local government area of Enugu State and environs. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Order, please. Honorable.
Yes, Honorable, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Uchenna Harris Okonkwo. I represent the good people of Idemili North and South Federal Constituency. I am from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that this motion is urgent enough to be heard. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder? Yes, Honorable.
Order, please.
Go ahead.
Mepalas. Honorable Mepalas.
Speaker, my name is Afolabi Afwapa. I represent the good people of Abeokuta South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State, gateway to the country. I rise this morning, Mr. Speaker, to second the second leg of the motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Please proceed, but be brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I rise this morning to move this urgent motion, which seeks for an urgent need for federal government to include Ivo multipurpose dam for urgent completion as a result of overflow of the reservoir, which led to flooding of farmlands, homes, and communities in the Niri local government area of Enugu State. The House notes that Ivo multipurpose dam is an ongoing project that is sited at the agrarian land of some communities in the Niri local government area of Enugu State. This project, which was awarded sometime in 2009 by federal government of Nigeria through Federal Ministry of Water Resources for purposes of providing irrigation services for agricultural activities to farmers to enhance dry season farming as well as water supply and hydropower schemes. The House notes that the Ivo multipurpose dam was designed to have a reservoir capacity of about 20 million cubic meters of water, and the project has attained about 80% job completion when budgetary provision for each country's jurisdiction dropped so low, thereby leading to works abandonment. The House is disturbed that every rainy season, the dam reservoir usually overflows, thereby causing flooding of communities within its environs. The House is also disturbed that this year's rain has caused overflow of the reservoir, which overstretched the uncompleted spillway, thereby leading to flooding of the entire community within our local government area of Enugu State, and even neighboring Isiago community in Ebonyi State. The House is aware that the dam was conceptualized to enhance and promote agricultural activities and provide water for the entire people in that local government area and even beyond. The House is further aware that the flooding from the uncompleted dam spillway have visited ruin and untold hardship on the people of this area as it has destroyed farmlands with crops like cassava, rice, yams, corns, and other perennial crops, which were washed away by the ravaging flood water in the last 3 weeks and continue to impart misery and untold losses on the people. The House is concerned that the destruction visited by the flood water was not restricted to farmlands alone, as it even extended to residential areas in the community of Banco, Ishiago, and East Environs, as lots of persons have been rendered homeless without any means of sustenance. The House is hereby urged to resolve to all the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately provide relief materials to the affected persons in the Opanko and Isha communities with food, medical supplies, and beddings to ameliorate the suffering of these people. The House is hereby also requested to resolve to urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to prioritize the completion of this project by including it among the dams slated to receive immediate attention from the special fund of federal government of about 340 billion, recently earmarked by the federal government for the habilitation of flood-threatened dams that are in urgent need of attention, like the Ivo Dam. The House is further requested to resolve and mandate the House Committees on Water Resources, Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, and Climate Change to carry out on-the-spot assessment of the areas with a view to ensuring that this dam is completed so as to forestall the occurrence of this flooding menace on the people of this area. The House is further resolved, finally, to mandate the House Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Shetima.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, Armela Shetima Ali, representing Bursari Gaidemi Federal Constituency, I'm from BBC, sir. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother. I so second, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Water Resources, Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, and Climate Change for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Nigeria Maritime University, Okeren Koko, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Francis Erejugeni Waeve. Honorable Waeve is hereby invited to present the report. Oh. Is the sponsor of the bill around? Because Waeve is not with us this morning. Is he there? Please go ahead and present report on his behalf.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, the Agbakin of his land. Respected colleagues, I remain Fatoba Lushola. I represent the good people of Ado Ekiti, Irepo the fellow federal constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. I rise this morning to move that the House do receive the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Nigerian Maritime University, Okeren Koko, and for related matters. May I seek the leave of Mr. Speaker to lead this report? Thank you.
Any seconder first? We have to get a seconder before you can go ahead and lay the report. My dear brother, 2 days.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. My name is Femi Bamishile, representing the very good people of Emure, Bonyi, and Ekiti. It's the citadel of understanding Ekiti State. I hereby second the presentation being moved by my brother, Honorable Fatoba. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Please go ahead and lay your report. The second business of the day is presentation of report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to domesticate and enforce in Nigeria the International Convention Against Doping in Sports, establish the Nigeria Anti-Doping Center to implement Nigeria's obligation to the World Anti-Doping Code, international standards and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Buba Jajiri. Honorable Jajiri is hereby invited to present his report.
Thank you very much, the People's Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Mohammed Buba Jajere. I represent the people of Fika Fune Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State, Mr. Speaker. I want to seek a request that the House do receive the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to domesticate and enforce in Nigeria the International Convention Against Doping in Sports, establish the Nigeria Anti-Doping Center to implement Nigeria's obligations to the World Anti-Doping Code, international standards, and for related matters. I want to seek the permission of Mr. Speaker and the Honorable House to lay the report.
Honorable Mepalas, can you second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Kabiru Ahmadu Mepalas is my name. I represent the entire people of South IP, Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Number State. I rise to second that this report should be led by my Deputy Honorable Muhammad Buba Jajiri. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Please go ahead.
Order, please.
Honorable colleagues, the third business of the day is presentation of 3 reports of the Committee on Health Institution, standing in the name of Honorable Amos Gomna Magaji. Honorable Magaji is hereby invited to present the reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Amos Gwamna Magaji, and I represent the peaceful people of Zangon Kataf Jaba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I do hereby move that that the House do receive the report of Committee on Health Institution on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center Ikole Ekiti, Ekiti State, and for related matters, HB 1037. Number 2, I do move that the House do receive the report on Committee on Health Institution on a bill for an act to provide the establishment of Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Ikosu, Mobile Local Government Area of Ekiti State, and for related matters, HB 782. Lastly, that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center Fege, Kanu State, and for related matters, HB 94. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Fage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. My name is Barrister Muhammad Bello Shehu, representing the good people of Fege Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State, and I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Amos Gwamna Magaji. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Amos, please proceed and lay your report. The first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, Ondo City, Ondo State, and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Before you proceed, my attention has been drawn that we have 6 bills. So please take the 6 bills in that order, or maybe I should just read the orders for you to now consider in one move. The second one is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Training and Development of Nigeria to set standards and skills to be attained by individuals or corporate entities seeking to engage in provisions of capacity development services in Nigeria to ensure effective practice and for related matters. The next one is a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Training and Development of Nigeria to set standards and skills to be attained by individuals or corporate entities seeking to engage in provisions of capacity development services in Nigeria to ensure effective practice and for related matters. The next one is a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Ise, Ikiti State, and for related matters standing in the name of the House Leader. The fourth one is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Misau, Bauchi State, and for related matters. The fifth one is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture, Act Cap F22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters. The sixth one is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Criminal Code Act Cap C38, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide stiffer penalties to selected sections of the Act and for related matters. Leader, please, if you can consider the 6
Thank you
bills
very
for
much,
third reading.
able Speaker. I'm Julius Ihanvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the following bills be taken for third reading by the House: SB 40, HB 1550, HB 52, HB 486, HB 530, and HB 151, as ably, effectively, and very clearly adumbrated by the Right Honorable Speaker. I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, please can you second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Ali Issa JC, representing Balanga Billiri Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that the 6th bill should be, the third reading of the 6th bill, 1 to 6, SB 40, HB 1550, HB 52, HB 486, HB 530, and HB 151. I hereby second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Educational Planning and Administration, Ondo City, Ondo State, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Training and Development of Nigeria to state standards and skills to be attained by individuals or corporate entities seeking to engage in provisions of capacity development services in Nigeria and to ensure effective practice and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap 812 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Ise, Ekiti State, and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap 812 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Misau, Bauchi State, and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Cap F22 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Criminal Code Act Cap C38 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide steeper penalties to selected sections of the Act and for related matters. Third reading.
Bills read for the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, the seventh order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the National Honors Act Cap N43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and the Nigerian National Merit Award Act Cap N122, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian National Honors and Merit Award Commission to, among other things, provide for establishment of a commission to regulate matters related to national honors and merit award in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the names of Honorable Abbas Tajuddin and Honorable Babajimi Benson. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 5th July 2023. I now invite Honorable Benson to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you very much. The Right Honorable Speaker, the Ian Zazao, a man of peace, a man of justice, and a friend to North Africa. I remain Baba Jimmy Benson, the Wakili Ian Zazao, representing the very good people of the Ikorodu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to propose that a bill for an act to repeal the National Honors Act, Cap number 43, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and the Nigerian National Merit Award Act, Cap 122, Laws of the Federation 2004, should be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ali Madaki, for obvious reasons, please kindly second.
Mr. Speaker, our speaking speaker, my highly respected colleagues, Ali Usanu Madaki is my name, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I stand very strongly this morning to second the motion by the Wakili of Ian Zazzau. I do second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Benson, just highlight the key areas of this bill for us to put the question.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, before the People's House is a bill for an act to repeal the National Honors Act and the Nigerian Merit Award Act and enact a totally new comprehensive Nigerian National Honors and Merit Awards Commission Act to, among other things, provide for the establishment of a commission that will provide regulations for matters related to National Honors and Merit Award in Nigeria. The simple amendment we're trying to do is provided in only 7 sections. If this is passed, we hope and pray that there will be more competence in choosing people well-deserving Nigerians to be given national awards. The amendment and intent of this bill is simple. It is to make the award and nomination for national awards to be merit-based. It's that simple, Mr. Speaker, and I so propose that this bill be passed for a second time. Second reading, I mean.
So we just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to repeal the National Honors Act Cap N43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and establish the Nigerian National Merit Award Act Cap N122, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian National Honors and Merit Award Commission to, among other things, provide for establishment of a commission to regulate matters related to national honors and merit award in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs for further legislative action. The eighth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Sciences, DAS, Bauchi State, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Jafaru Gambaleko. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, July 26, 2023. I now invite Honorable Leko to move that the bill be read a second time. And while you are, please address yourself properly.
Thank you.
With all the titles given to you by this House, please.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, my dear respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Jafaru Leko, and I represent the very good people of Bogoroda, Stafa Balewa. Speaker just recently upgraded me to the patron of the deputies, chairman of the committees. Just for your information, no, grand patron now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. I stand before you this afternoon to present a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Science in DAS, Bauchi State, and for related matters, HB 287. I so move, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues.
Honorable Umaru.
Thank you, Excellency, my respected colleagues. My name is Jeremiah Umaru Isi. I represent Akwanga Nasarawa Egomba Federal Constituency. I'm from Nasarawa State. Your Excellency, I stand to second the motion that the bill, as read by my twin brother, be read for the second time. I so move. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Leko, is an establishment bill, right?
Yes, sir.
So I don't think if we need to go on debate for this, I think it's a straightforward thing. So just put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Sciences, DAS, Bauchi State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for further legislative action. The ninth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to provide for increment in the percentage of revenue based on derivative principle accruing to the Federation account directly from natural resources and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Mark Udo Iset. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, October 10, 2024. I will now invite Honorable Iset to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, GCUN, the game changer, a man of peace and a stabilizer. My name remains Mark Eset, member speaking for the good people of Uyo, Uran, Nsadatai, Sultan Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State, the only state in the airspace of Nigeria you can find. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to move a motion that a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to provide for increments in the percentage of revenue based on derivation principles accruing to the Federation account directly from the natural resources for related matters, HB 1540, be read a second time. I so move.
Right Honorable, please go ahead. Can't see the face properly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I am Honorable Murphy Osaro Omoruyi, representing the entire people of Ego, Ikubaka Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Benin City, Edo State. I rise this morning to second the motion ably moved by my colleagues. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Esed, can you just briefly give us a brief of this about this bill for members to be accordingly guided?
Thank you very much. I'll do just that, Mr. Speaker. As stated, Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to encourage states, all the states of the federations, to develop all the God-given natural resources that we have. It will discourage states from overdependence on the federal allocation that comes to their states. And Mr. Speaker, as you all know, there are processes ongoing that many of the laws we find in the exclusive list. There's been an agitation that they should also be moved to the congruent list where states can have equal right. For example, Mr. Speaker, the issue of correctional centers, where states can also build and also take responsibility to renovate, which hitherto has been the responsibility of the federal government. And if this is the light of the day, Mr. Speaker, we know that a lot of funds will be needed for the states to carry out this responsibility. Secondly, there's been a very loud and wide cry for state policing across the country to help stem the tides of insecurity we have. And whereby this is the light of the day, Mr. Speaker, states, we need a lot of resources to cater for the security apparatus that will be carried out in the states. And as such, Mr. Speaker, Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the northern part of the state, we have natural resources like the kaolin, diatomite, calcium, coal, and ginseng, a lot of natural resources in the north. In the south, same. There are a lot of natural resources. And Mr. Speaker, these resources have not been fully tapped for the benefit of the federal government and the state. And when this law is passed, Mr. Speaker, it will encourage states to go into the full development of these natural resources to the benefit of the state, having in mind the revenue derivation they will have. So, honorable colleagues, I seek your support that this bill be read a second time. Thank you.
Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. I'm Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayakunle Isiaka. Sorry? Another praises from my from my back here, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, distinguished knowledgeable colleagues. I'm from Ifoiweko Federal Constituency and proudly from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. I rise, Mr. Speaker, not to really say much since you have given my colleague the opportunity to articulate the position. And by the position of the House, usually on this constitutional amendment, I just want to pray, Mr. Speaker, that the bill be referred to the Committee on Constitutional Amendment and where they look at this postulation and do justice. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So we go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to provide for increment in the percentage of revenue based on derivative principles accruing to the Federation account directly from natural resources and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislative action. The 10th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create Isu, Injaba, and Ikwere Nwangele federal constituencies from the present Isul, Injaba, Ikwere Nwangele federal constituency within Imo State, to enhance democratic representation and governance by ensuring that the populations of these areas have adequate and equitable representation in the House of Representatives, to address the unique socio-political and developmental needs of the Isu, Injaba, Nkwere, and Nwangele communities and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Harrison and Nozin Wadike. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 11 July 2024. I now invite Honorable Wadike to move that the bill be read a second time. Is Honorable Wadike around?
Yes,
please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Barrister Harrison Anoze Wadike. I speak for the people of Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Nwangele Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm a native of Isu clan in Imo State, and I arise this afternoon to propose a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create Isu, Njaba, and Nkwere, Nwangele Federal constituencies from the present Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Nwangele Federal constituency within Imo State to enhance democratic representation and governance by ensuring that the populations of these areas have adequate and equitable representation in the House of Representatives to address the unique socio-political and developmental needs of the Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Nwangele communities, and for related matters, HB 1585. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Billy.
Thank you, my right honorable speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Osawaru, I represent the good people of Oriomo Nhode Federal Constituency of Edo State and a very proud Bini Chief. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This is a straightforward request, so without any waste of time, we just put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create issue in Jaba, inquiry Wangele federal constituencies for the present issue in Jaba, inquiry Wangele federal constituency within Oimo State to enhance democratic representation and governance by ensuring that the populations of these areas have adequate and equitable representation in the House of Representatives to address the unique socio-political and developmental needs of issue in Jaba, inquiry Wangele communities and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislative action. The 11th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter Section 162, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Awaji Inumbek D. Abiante and 8 others. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, November 7, 2024. I'll now invite Honorable Abiante to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Honorable Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues, I remain Awaji Nombek Dagomie Abiante. Of course, I represent the wonderful people of Andoni, Opobo, Nkora Federal Constituency. I'm an German from Rivers State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, I rise to seek that Section 162, sub 2 of the Constitution be altered. And in line with our practice, I appeal to my colleagues to also allow this to have the privilege, like several others have also had, to be moved to the Committee on Constitutional Review to consider the merits and otherwise of this proposed alteration for the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues.
Any seconder? Objection or point of order? Which one are you? Well, let us get a seconder, but we'll open the floor for debate so you can just contribute there, okay? Hi, Chief. You want to second? Please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, our respected colleague, my name is Chief Thomas Eritomi. I represent the people of Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to second that HB 848 should be read the second time. I say second.
Okay, before we put the question, let us give the mover of this bill, the sponsor, an opportunity to highlight on the key issues contained in this particular bill, and then we give 1 or 2 people opportunity to comment on the bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. The key issues in this bill, like you have said, Mr. Speaker, I want to refer us to one portion of our old-new national anthem, that we should build a nation by the grace of God where no man is oppressed. Mr. Speaker, there are several constitutional reviews that I've gone through
Without the likes of my friend and brother trying to raise objections, this bill is intended to open up the economic space of this country and give us a better Nigeria. Thank you.
Any contribution for or against? Yes, Honorable Ali Madaki.
Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues, my name is Ali Usani Madaki, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, before we amend or alter any section of the Constitution, I think it's very important we know what it is and what we are dealing with. So I will crave your indulgence to read section 162(2) that he's referring to, because in my opinion, and I'm sure in the opinion of many seated here, it's a well-crafted section that is meant to protect the unity and diversity of Nigeria. With your indulgence, may I read, Mr. Speaker? Section 162(2) says, the President, upon receipt of advice...
Honorable Jimmy, Honorable Ali Madaki, good afternoon to all of you.
Ali Jesse. The President, upon receipt of advice from Revenue, Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission, shall table before the National Assembly proposal for revenue allocation from the Federation account. In determining the formula, the National Assembly shall take into account allocation principles, especially those of population, equality of states, internal revenue generation, land mass, terrain, as well as population density. Mr. Speaker, I believe this is very fair to every section of this country, and I don't think we need to change or alter anything in this section. It is my view that this section should be retained as it is. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Sada.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Sada Soli Jibia, representing Jibia Kaita Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, this constitutional amendment, Mr. Speaker, the House needs more information about this so that the members will know what they are voting on. The mover of this bill with the 7 other people, I would say they're a bit economical to the House, because we need to know under which principles would they want to amend Section 162, subsection 2 of the Constitution. We need to know the principles behind that. They need to break it down, let us know the rationale, because we don't have the bill.
I'm sure the bill must have been sent to
We don't have
our
the synopsis of the bill,
platforms.
Mr. Speaker.
It has been gazetted.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I'm not saying the bill is not gazetted, but the issue is, what are they amending?
That is why I asked him to explain in detail. But I think if we feel that we need more explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Bente, I will advise that you step down the bill to next week to allow members on Tuesday, we can represent this bill on Tuesday, so that members can take a closer look at what your bill entails, and then we take an objective decision thereafter. What do you think?
I don't agree. Mr. Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues, before this time, I alluded to a portion of our national anthem, where Abiante should not be singled out to begin to say all that you are saying. Mr. Speaker, you have sat down there and you have referred several alterations to the Nigerian Constitution, to the Constitutional Review. So if Abiante is being singled out today, it goes to show that whatever we are saying and doing here is of no consequence, of no effect.
Honorable this is not the case.
Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, please, sir. Please, sir. You asked me to expatiate. The portion that I only requested to be altered is to look at the principles of derivation. We have even passed a part of what I am asking for. In this same house today, on bill number 9, it talks about derivation principles. Is it about
But the subject matters are different.
They are the same. They are the same subject matter.
You should
It's
not.
just that
Please,
just that
I don't want you to be sentimental or Obulabete. Please sit down.
Mr.
Sit
Speaker,
down,
I'm requesting an alteration to the
please, can
derivation
you sit down?
percentage.
Please,
That's all.
sit down, please. Please, I beg you. Sit down. There is nothing emotional in this. When we earlier spoke about the other bill, no member raised his hand to object. And that's the reason why we had to pass it. But where we have constitutional amendments that are very, very sensitive, we need to take time to go through and see the whole content before we take decision. So that at the end of the day, we'll all on to whatever decision we take. And that's the reason why I feel that since members do not have enough information, and you are supposed to also present ordinarily a write-up to circulate to members for them to see X, Y, Z of the whole thing. Have you circulated to members? Members have not been given, so they are not adequately equipped to comment on this. Nothing will happen to a bill. We'll just give a little more time for members now that they are aware of this particular request from you to go through, and then on Tuesday, we'll resume debate on this particular matter. I don't think if there's any issue, and just a 1 week extension will not hurt the consideration of this particular bill. So with your kind permission, we can step this bill down to Tuesday next week for continuation of debate. Agreed? Thank you. The 12th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the abandoned Abado Isoi water scheme, standing in the name of Honorable Isiaka Ayokule Ibrahim. Honorable Ibrahim is hereby invited to move the motion.
Once again, thank you very much, Your Excellency, here for doing this wonderful job for us as a nation. I'm Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayokule Isiaka. I speak for the entire Nigerians, but I have a source from Ifoeweko Federal Constituency, and I'm from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. Proudly, I'm from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion and present before the entire House my very dearest colleagues and leaders of a need to investigate the abandoned Agbado Isoye water scheme projects. Distinguished honorable colleagues, the House notes that the Agbado Isoye water scheme as a regional water project conceptualized to compensate the people of Agbado, Okearo, Ibaragun, Akute, Ajuwon, Isheri, Ojodu wards in Ifo local government area of Ogun State from the World Bank assisted Lagos State government Iju and Okearo water supply projects, both of which are cited and located in the 4 wards mentioned above. Also note that the Agbado Isoye water scheme was captured in the year 2006 appropriation, uncontroverted and awarded same year to Mrs. O'Hara Construction Company Limited for the sum of 560 million naira. The project proceeded smoothly with the construction of massive industrial boreholes and groundwater storage tanks, but was suddenly abandoned by the federal government at 54.37% completion stage. The House is therefore worried at the high rate of abandoned federal government projects despite the huge investment, especially on this very project at Agbado Isoye.
water scheme, therefore achieving no result till date. The House resolves urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to activate the process of resumption of work at the site of Agbado Isoya water scheme. 2, mandate the Committee on Water Resources to investigate the cause of the abandoned Agbado Isoyi water scheme, and also mandate the committees on water resources and appropriations to make provisions for the completion of the outstanding components of the Agbado Isoyi water scheme project in the year 2025 budget estimates. Mr. Speaker, distinguished, respected, honorable colleagues, I so moved. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Idem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyima, member representing Ukanafun, Rogonam Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague and neighbor, Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka. I so second. Thank you.
Order, please. Return to your seats, all of you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Water Resources and Appropriations for further legislative action. The 13th order of the day is a motion on the need to address the progressive decline in the Nigerian sports sector, standing in the name of Honorable Kabir Amadou. Honorable Amadou is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you.
Honorable Banye, you are disturbing Honorable Ahmed. Please, next time you go and sit next to me if you want to discuss.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. Kabiru Amadou Mepalas is my name. I represent the entire people of Gosos IP Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Zamfara State. I rise this afternoon to move this motion on the need to address the progressive decline in the Nigerian sports sector. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the glory and the honor Nigerian experienced during the golden era of sports, where sport helped break down divisions and showcase the country's best talents. Mr. Speaker also notes that the emergence of the legends in track and the field events like the Izingo brothers, Seun Ogunkoya, Mary Onyali, and Chuma Ajunwa, Sule Lapido, the tennis player who made Nigeria proud, aware that the 1992-1998 national football team class, including the Atlanta 1996 Dream Team, achieved Olympic gold in 1996, symbolizing Nigeria's football dominance during that period. Mr. Speaker, worried that for over 2 decades, Nigerian sport industry has declined significantly, with less progress in prominent African sports like basketball, boxing, football, and athletics. Factors contributing to this decline include inadequate administration, mismanagement, and carelessness from officials. An example is the omission of Pebo Opili from the 100-meter event at the Olympic 2024, yet to be identified by the Nigerian officials. Mr. Speaker, concerned that Nigeria, once a dominant force in track and the field, is now lagging behind Ghana, South Africa, and Cameroon in African Global Championships. The country's sport industry is degenerating, as seen in the 2024 Olympic Games. Mr. Speaker, worried that Nigerian athletes are demoralized and impacted by the decline of the sports sector, which has been a unifying factor in the country. Issues such as inadequate infrastructure, poor funding, and governance hinder growth and performance, leading some athletes to defect or give up to their careers. Mr. Speaker, the following prayers were resolved. Number one, to urge the federal government to declare state of emergency in the Nigerian sports sector to address the challenges and revitalize the industry. Mr. Speaker, secondly, to urge the Federal Ministry of Sport to allocate adequate funds toward the development of the sport infrastructure, athlete welfare, and the grassroots programs to ensure sustainable growth in the industry. And the third one, which is the last prayer, Mr. Speaker, to mandate the Committee on Sport to investigate the decay of the Nigerian sports sector and propose necessary reforms required to rescue and rejuvenate Nigerian sports sector for the benefit of athletes, stakeholders, and the nation, and report using posts for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Abiente.
Amendment.
Somebody has an amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, later. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
No, please, Honorable Anka, I've already recognized Abiente to second. I will yield the floor to you thereafter.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. I remain Awaji Nombek Dagomie Abiante. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by my brother, Mayor Palace, Kabiru Amadu, the chairman of Sports Committee. I so second.
Contributions, amendment? Honorable Anka.
Thank you very much, able Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I want to commend the mover of the motion and to add to the fact that one of the major reasons is the paucity of funds, as highlighted by the mover. I therefore want to add prayer 4 to read mandate committees on appropriation and planning to make available adequate provision for the sector. Then secondly, prayer 2, I also want to amend prayer 2 based on the strength of the fact that I don't think it's the Ministry of Finance that allocate funds. Rather, they propose funds. It is therefore my advice that the prayer should read also to urge the federal ministries of sports to propose adequate funds while budget and planning to allocate adequate funds toward the development of sports infrastructure, blah, 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 in the industry. I so move, sir. Thank you very much.
Any seconder to this amendment? Any seconder? Honorable Tijani?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I am Tijani Kairi Ismail, represent the good people of Ifelodun of our new federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kwara State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by the amendment heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. This motion is referred to the committees on sports. What are the other committees, Honorable Anka? Appropriation and planning. So this motion is referred to the committees on sport, appropriation, and planning for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, the 14th order of the day is a motion on the need to revoke the contract work on Numan Jalingo Road, standing in the name of Honorable Sadiq Abbas Tafida. Honorable Tafida is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ian Zazzau, respected colleagues, I am Honorable Sadiq Abbas Tafida, member representing Jalingo, Yoro, and Zim Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Taraba State. I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the need to revoke the contract work on Numan Jalingo Road. The House notes that Numan Jalingo Road is a Trunk A federal government road that links most of the cities in the north with the eastern part of Nigeria. Also notes that in 2017, the construction of the road was awarded to Dues Projects Nigeria Limited for 11 billion naira with a completion timeline of 20 months by the Muhammadu Buhari administration. But no progress has been made at the site in 7 years. Aware that in 2022, during a visit to the site, the former Honorable Minister of State Works and Housing, Honorable Maazu Sambo, stated that the federal government had allocated 3 billion naira to continue the project, attributing the delay to COVID-19, but progress remains slow for over 30 months. Concerned that the contractor gave a conflicting information, stating that 1,500,000,000 naira had been disbursed for the project and citing security challenges as hindrances to progress. Worried that conflicting reasons have not been resolved and contractor Do Project Nigeria Limited lacks necessary capacity for continued construction work, leading to different excuses. Disturbed that bandits, armed robbers, and kidnappers have taken advantage of the deplorable situation of the road and turned the area to a permanent hub for criminal activities. Cognizant of the need for the federal government to prioritize development of the Numan Jalingo Road to enhance commercial activities, the House resolves to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to recommend the revocation of the contract on Do Project Nigeria Limited and re-award the contract to competent contractors. 2, also urge the Ministry of Works to make provision for the contract in the 2025 budget estimates. Also mandate the Committee on Works to invite the Honourable Minister of Works to clarify the position of the contract and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I also want to add that we mandate the House Committee on Appropriations to make provisions in the 2025 budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any secondum? Honorable Ambarura.
Amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I am Honorable Bill Isa Ambarura, member representing Guadabawa Ilela Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, considering the sympathetic situation that these people are, that is Numan Jalingo, it forced me or compelled me to stand up and support the motion. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. Those
Amendment.
Amendment?
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Let me start with Honorable Kabiru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Kabiru Amadu Mepalis is my name. I represent the entire people of Gosos, IP Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from State.
Honorable Kaoji, I thought I saw Dr. Zainab around. Is she still around? Please ask her to see me. After sitting, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to amend prayer 1 to urge the ministry, where the mover said that to urge the Ministry of Works to recommend the revocation. I want to move that we don't need the recommendation. The ministry has the power to revoke the contract. Therefore, the prayer is supposed to read that the Ministry of Works to revoke the contract from Deus Project Limited and award it to another contractor. That's number one. Number two, I don't think we need prayer number 3, Mr. Speaker, where the mover said that the Committee of on Works to invite Honorable Minister to clarify the position of the contract. I don't think we need this prayer 3. The Ministry of Works has the power to revoke the contract and award it to another contractor. Then the second prayer to the Ministry of Works Planning and Budget to make necessary provision for the contract to be in the 2025 estimate. That's my amendment, Mr. Speaker. I so move. Thank you.
Okay, so let's take them one after the other. The first amendment, any seconder to the first amendment? Honorable Shoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Olumide Oshoba, representing Abeokuta North, Obafemode, and another federal constituency, I rise to second the amendment as ably moved by my honorable colleague.
Amendment. Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second amendment is in respect of deleting prayer 3. Is that what you said? Prayer 3? Mandate the Committee on Works to invite the Honorable Minister, right? So any seconder to this amendment?
Mr. Speaker, I said we don't need prayer 3, not necessarily. We already urged the Ministry of Works to revoke the contract and award it to another contractor. Then no need to call the minister to clarify the issue of the contract again. That's what the prayer is saying, Mr. Speaker. Then my amendment is to delete the prayer 3, Mr. Speaker.
I agree with you. There is a contradiction. If you are going to maintain prayer 1, then there is no need for prayer 3. But you can as well also delete prayer 1 and leave prayer 3. It all depends, but the two can go together. Amendment. So any seconder to this, prayer 3? Okay, leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very respected honorable colleague. I believe there is no need to delete prayer 3 because our committee has to report back to the House. If you delete the prayer 3, then that means the committee is not going to report any informations about the contract or any investigations or any positions that they have taken. So I believe the prayer 3 should be maintained. There are procedures to revoke contracts. If not because prayer 1 has been mandated, I will have advised you delete prayer 1 and 2 and allow the committee to engage them, investigate, and report back. Because these are legal matters. We cannot just do it without any investigating and knowing the status. Thank you, sir.
But perhaps you can amend prayer 3 so that it will not be in collusion with prayer 1. Can't we amend prayer 3? Amendment. Yes, but we are not done with the second amendment from Honorable Kabiru. You want to amend it?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying, according to Honorable Ali Jesse, the heading of the motion is need to revoke the contract work on Newman, Mr. Speaker, not to investigate the contract. It's to revoke the contract. According to the heading of the motion, then that's the reason why I say we don't need prayer 3 if we can maintain prayer 1. Unless we delete prayer 1, then we maintain prayer 3.
You see, legislatively speaking, we shouldn't have even approved prayer 1. We cannot act without investigation. No matter how glaring the situation is, ours is for us to first of all investigate and then recommend appropriate measures. So for us to outrightly say, revoke, I think it is unparliamentary.
I therefore amend, sir. Propose to amend, Mr. Speaker.
So we'll have to rescind this unless if...
Amendment.
It has to be a rescission because we have already hit the government concerning this particular one. And the appropriate procedure for rescission is to come back after a period of time, right? Or can we do it immediately?
There could be further amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Okay.
Amendment, Speaker.
Honorable Abete.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, since we have not taken the motion as it is, I think we still have the opportunity to get it right. Mr. Speaker, I want to propose that we delete prayers 1 and 2, and in its place, urge the Committee on Works to investigate the project as specified and report back to the House in 3 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, any seconder then? Any seconder? Honorable Shoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. Olumide Oshoba representing Abeokuta North, Obafemi and Odeda Federal Constituency, sitting right next to the member that has 2 constituencies.
Honorable Jimmy, please can you stop distracting Honorable Shoba?
Ably recognizing the member that has 2 constituencies under him, I rise to second the amendment that the House investigates the contract and reports back to the House in 3 weeks. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works for further legislative action. Just a point of correction on an earlier resolution passed, the 10th order of the day, which is seeking to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to create Isu, Njaba, and Ikwere and Uwegele Federal Constituency. The earlier position was the motion to be referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review. After further discussions, we agreed that electoral matters should also be included for this referral. So please take note accordingly. Honorable colleagues, the 15th order of the day is a motion on the need to strengthen Lassa fever emergency response corridor to curtail incidents and fatality of the disease outbreak in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Marcus Onobun. Honorable Onobun is hereby invited to move the motion. Is not around? Okay, motion is stepped down by the leave of the House. The 16th order of the day is consideration of 5 bills standing in the name of Honorable Julius Ihovering. Honorable Julius is hereby invited to move for their consideration.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the following reports be considered by the Committee of the Whole. Senate Bill 345, House Bill 1975, House Bill 1598, House Bill 1384, and House Bill 714. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected honorable colleagues. I rise to second
Honorable Fullerton, you are welcome.
the motion moved by our leader that the House do consider the following bills: SB 345, HB 1975, HB 1598, HB 1384, and HB 714. I hereby second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, it's my pleasure to announce that today is the birthday of Honorable Umaru Jeremiah, member representing Akwanga, Nasarawa, Egon, Wamba, Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State. If Honorable Umaru is around, please can you rise for recognition of the House? Is he around? He has gone out. So on behalf of the House, we are congratulating our dear brother for attaining one more year. May God continue to be his pillar of strength. Honorable colleagues, the leader of the House, can you move that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider the reports mentioned earlier?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole in order to consider the reports outlined earlier. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I rise to second a motion by our leader that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole to consider the reports earlier mentioned. Thank you, Mr.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House resolved to the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jimmy, where are you going? You are going to restroom. We're expecting you back. Thank you very much, Honorable Jimmy. Most distinguished colleagues, the first bill to be considered is for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. I invite the Leader of the House to give the synopsis of the bill in 1 minute. Leader, please. Leader, please. Synopsis of the bill, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of a Federal University of Technology in Ilaro. And clearly, as articulated in the documents before us, its main purpose is
Thank
to
you,
offer
Honorable Kauje.
instruction, training, and research in technology and allied areas for the production of quality and skilled technologies. I think we need this, particularly at this time. I recommend that colleagues support this bill.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, the question is that clauses 1 to 30, the schedules, plenary memorandum, and the long title be made part of this bill. I promise that we'll be here in 25 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll be out of here to join our committee members in various committee rooms. So it won't take time. So clause 1 to 10. 10 to 20. 20 to 30. The shadows, explanatory memorandum, the long title. Most respected colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to establish the National Youth Service Corps Fund to provide a sustainable source of fund for the National Youth Service Corps, skill acquisition, training and empowerment of Corps members, training and retraining of the personnel of the NYSC, development of camps and NYSC formations and facilities, and for related matters. Leader, please, synopsis in 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. We continue to find ways to develop the capacities of our Corps members. And this bill addresses this directly. To cover all Corps members, personnel of NYSC, orientation camps, formations, facilities, and overall improvement, essentially empowerment of our Corps members, the development of their camps, in order to equip them with relevant skills for post-Corps life. I recommend again that we take this as part of our contribution to national growth and development.
Thank you, Leader. Honorable colleagues, the question is clauses 1 to 26, schedule, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill be made part of this bill. Clause 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 26, the schedule, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the third bill to be considered is for an act to prevent, prohibit, and redress sexual harassment of students in tertiary educational institutions and for related matters. I invite the leader once more to give us the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, this bill is to help advance the efforts to bring sanity to the relationships and engagements between genders in our academic institutions. Essentially protect the students, protect the teachers and workers in the university system. I think our colleagues should look at it properly and give it the necessary support. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The question is, honorable colleagues, that clauses 1 to 15, explanatory memorandum, and the long title be made part of this bill. I'm going to take this bill one at a time. Clause 1? Clause 2? Clause 3? What are you carrying? Can you read that clause 3 very well? I'm seeing something that looks like unprofessional drafting. I'm seeing offenses, under offenses, you are seeing number 4, grabs, hugs, kisses, rubs, strokes, touches, or pinches the breast, or hair, or lips, or hips, or butt stock. And in legal drafting, this is too graphic. I was expecting that some of the lawyers who are here as well and some of the seasoned legislators should look into that. It could be coined in different ways. Leader, what do you have to say to this?
Mr. Chairman, so that we don't waste the time of members, I think we should step this down, let the committee go and look at it again. There are better ways of putting this. When you say kiss, what exactly is the kiss? Is it the French kiss or the Nigerian kiss? Which one is offensive? Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, what leader is saying that due to the ambiguity that is attached to some of the words used here, maybe you should step it down and then look at it again and redraft it to be professionally done as it is now. The drafting, I'm not sure the House is comfortable with that. Who wanted to say something about it?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. The issue of sexual harassment is one that needs to be as explicit as possible because people hide under the ambiguity to carry out these things. And that's why it might sound very graphic, but this is the experience, the lived experience of many females and even males in higher institutions. That's why, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, as the sponsor of the bill, it was very intentional.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We don't have any problem with the purposive intention of the legislator that is sponsored this, but that's why we have interpretation clause. In legal drafting, we have interpretation clause. Under the interpretation clause, if there are words capable of ambiguous interpretation, you explain them there in a more specific, more defined manner. And in the body of the provisions of an act to have these very graphic wordings, they are not in tandem with the best global practices in drafting of any piece of legislation. So without defeating the essence of the purposive intention of the legislator, there is every need for us to review how to coin the wordings and still achieve the same essence that you intended to achieve by the time you put this drafting together. I think that should be enough on this. Oh yeah, let me hear the our sister. We missed her for a while. She just came back.
Thank you. Thank you for the floor. My name is Honorable Tolulope Akondishadipe, and I represent Oluyole Federal Constituency in Oyo State. This bill is a very, very important bill, and it is past due. So it is very, very important that we do what we have to do with regards to this urgently. I've had the opportunity to quickly look through this bill, and I see that section 3 is the only section that is very, very vivid. That's the word I will use for this. But then I can understand the point of the person who drafted this bill, that in true life, the words hug, kisses, rubs or strokes, touches or pinches are words that are in the dictionary. And as long as they're in the dictionary, the English dictionary of the English world, then I see no reason why we cannot forge ahead with this bill. Because no other word can describe hugs, kisses. A kiss is a kiss. A stroke is a stroke. A touch is a touch. And a pinch is a pinch. Thank you very much. Too many women have been harassed and have lost their education because of these words that we may deem inappropriate. It has destroyed many lives. And as such, this House must take this very seriously. Stepping this bill down is delaying the inevitable.
Thank you very much. I think we need to hear more people. Maybe you didn't hear what I was saying about interpretation clause. There is a standard in drafting legislation. I'll come back to that, but let us hear some of our seasoned legislators here on the issue.
Thank you very much, my very able chairman, my distinguished colleagues. I do not have all the details. Maybe institutional memory will fail me. The clerk would also help us. I am thinking that a bill of this nature was passed in the Ninth Assembly. I do not know. I can't get the details. A bill like this was passed in the Ninth Assembly. So maybe they will give us.
Yeah, I think the Secretariat needs to look at that. I remember it was your bill, leader, on sexual harassment. Yeah, so to avoid duplication, yes, let me hear from you, Honorable Solomon.
Thank you, Chairman and distinguished colleagues. I think I align myself with your own thoughts on the matter. I don't think there's any intention here by anyone, excuse me, to repurpose the essence of this bill. Like our sister Tolu mentioned, it's a very important bill. We all support it. But I think that it could do with more elegant, elegant drafting. You know, even in legal construction, the things you have mentioned, you know, would deem to exclude any other thing that you have not mentioned. Because in law we say the express mention of one thing or some things is the amounts to exclusion of others. So you could do with a more liberal, you know, description that will cater to all the things you had in mind. You know, my view is that stepping it down to make a reappearance in the next 1-2 weeks, not a big deal. It's been too long in the coolers. It's made its way here now. I don't think that waiting a little more time to give it a more professional, to use, you know, an everyday language, touch, will not be too much. So that's my small intervention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't think we really need to debate this any further. There are two issues that have come up. One, a similar bill was passed by the Ninth Assembly. I've asked the Secretariat to investigate and get back to me. You say you want to do what? You want to comment on that? Okay, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In terms of the bill progression, sir, this bill was passed in total in the 9th Assembly, but it did not get presidential assent. So after, in line with Order 12, Rule 7, after it was gazetted and presented for first reading, it was recommitted again in line with the House rules in total. So just to provide that context from the 9th Assembly, it was passed in the 9th Assembly in both the Senate and in the House, and then presented but did not get presidential assent. Okay, I wouldn't go back to...
Is it in the same form?
The same in total, sir. The same form,
In total?
Correct, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Maybe that was one of the reasons why the president did not assent to it. Maybe the Ministry of Justice saw the drafting as being weak. So that is why the 10th Assembly should not repeat the mistakes of the 9th Assembly. We have to repackage the bill in a professional way that it will fly through. So I think we should step this bill down and then liaise with the Secretariat, make sure we tidy between the old one and this one, and then redraft it. I'm sure the sponsor of the bill knows what to do. If you need help, you can consult my office so that we can get the team of legal drafters attached to my office to help you, to make sure that we clean it up the way it's supposed to be without losing any intention of the bill. And this we can do in 1 week, 2 weeks, without being delayed like Honorable Opine. We can achieve the two things. Quality bill, save time as well. Agreed? Carried?
As the House pleases.
Carried. So this bill is stepped down by the leave of the House. Most distinguished colleagues, the fourth bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Federal College of Education Technical, Gwaram Jigawa State, to provide full-time courses in education, applied sciences, instruction and training in technology, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management and other fields of related study, and to carry out research in development and adaptation of techniques, and also make provisions for the general administration of the college and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill. Just one minute. It's an establishment bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is very direct. It's Federal College of Education, technical. I think we have the same problem as yesterday, because I'm seeing arts, social sciences, humanities, and management. But I recommend my colleagues to let it go through so we can make progress.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. The question is that clauses 1 to 27, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title be made part of this bill. Clause 1 to 10. Clause 1 to 10. Clause 11 to 20. 21 to 27. The schedules, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill. The fifth and the last bill to be considered is the Act to establish the Institute of Chartered Trustees of Nigeria, ICTN, charged with the responsibility of regulating and promoting the practice of trusteeship, including the registration and discipline of its members and for related matters. I invite the leader again to give the synopsis of this bill in 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is a timely bill, trying to help us to regulate the profession of trusteeship. Generally, we just pick people, say these are the board of trustees, and they go around their BOT, but they have no idea of the legal and political and other implications of being a trustee. So this institute is designed to help cure that gap, so they can train professionals, empower them so that organizations can benefit from professional skills that they acquire through them. I recommend that we get it passed.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, the question is that clauses 1 to 26, the schedules and the long title be made part of the bill. 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 26, the schedules, the long title of the bill. Before I ask the leader to move that the House revert to plenary, let me announce that most of the committee chairmen who processes bills before it gets to the committee of the whole through the chairman rules and business kindly attach evidence of public hearing, the repertoires reports, to show that it went through the entire process before bringing it to the Committee of the Whole. We don't want any bill, we are not saying these bills are, but we don't want any bill to jump from second reading straight to Committee of the Whole without doing the process of public hearing. So please note. Leader, please move that the House revert to plenary to consider report from the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to move that the House will revert to plenary so the chairman can give a report of what happened at the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Thank you. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name remains Honorable George Ibezimakos Otinobi. I second the motion every boom by our leader to the House to revert to the committee, to plenary to consider the report on committee.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. House hereby revert to plenary to consider report from the Committee of the Whole. Thank you, most distinguished colleagues. The House in Committee of the Whole Hello. Where's the technical people?
Hello.
Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Technology, Ilaro, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Approve clauses 1 to 30, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to establish the National Youth Service Corps Fund to provide a sustainable source of fund for the National Youth Service Corps, skill acquisition, training and empowerment of corpus, training and retraining of the personnel of the NYSC, development of camps and NYSC formations and facilities, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 26, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to prevent, prohibit, and redress sexual harassment of students in tertiary education and for related matters. Step down consideration of the report for further legislative action. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on the bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Technical, Gwanram, Jigawa State to provide full-time courses in education, applied sciences, instruction and training in technology, arts, social sciences, humanities and management, and other fields of related study, and to carry out research and development and adaptation of techniques, and also make provisions for the general administration of the college and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 27, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Chartered Trustees of Nigeria, ICTN, charged with the responsibility of regulating and promoting the practice of trusteeship, including the registration and discipline of its members and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 26, the schedules, and the long title of the bill. Leader, please move that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the Parliament.
Mr. Chairman, Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do adopt the reports from the Committee of the Whole as ably.
I'm sure you're addressing Mr. Speaker, not
clearly,
Chairman now.
Mr. Speaker, as clearly enumerated by the Speaker, so move.
Minority Leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Honorable George Ibezima Kozadinobi, representing Jiko Kanocha, Dunukofia Federal Constituency.
Thank you very much. Those in support of the motion that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the Parliament, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Committee of the Whole's report is hereby adopted as a working instrument of the Parliament. Honorable colleagues, let's have the leader move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, same time, same place.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow, same venue, same time.
Thank you. Minority Leader, please.
I rise to second the motion, ably moved by the leader of this house to adjourn and report back here tomorrow, the same time, same day.
Thank you. Those in support of the motion for adjournment to tomorrow, same time, same place, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you.